Blessing of the animals.
Recording in progress.
Animals.
What is happening?
We're just waiting a little bit here.
Oh, hi, Carl. How you doing?
Pretty good.
This
Pretty
is
good.
I have this picture of all kinds of adorable animals.
Yep, it's Blessing of the Animals. So we've got some pictures of animals.
Are you still driving?
Just a little bit.
Laura, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot better. I'm waiting for my test results, but it's probably pretty certain that I've got COVID.
Yeah. And Carl, you're doing a little better?
Yeah, I've been out of isolation since last week. And I didn't get terribly sick. I just, little cough, a little achy, tired.
Yeah.
So you were both vaccinated and had breakthroughs, right?
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, I thought I read that, Laura.
Which is to be expected with the Delta variant.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
I
What
heard
it
of
does is
several
it
other
keeps you from
people.
going to the hospital and dying. So
Yeah, thumbs up to that.
Well, if the hosts are going to let us chat for a minute, I want to say hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi, we're in northern Michigan.
Yes.
I'm live in our sanctuary waiting
Yes,
for the
I noticed.
magic.
It's nice to see you.
So I have to pin you. Where are you?
I'm listening to my hosts and muting myself and waiting for the action.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
Lane.
just let me know when you want to start. Figure we let people have a few minutes.
How
It's
was
just like
Maine?
our regular Sunday mornings where people straggle in.
It really is. It feels very normal. Is the opening music by you, Carl?
It is.
Yeah, let's wait until we have like one more person and then start. Look at that. Just like that, we have an admit. Let's go ahead and start.
All right, here we go. I'm going to mute myself. Pepper, pepper is a cat, is a cat. Pepper is a brat, is a brat. Pepper is a cat who falls down flat, her claws out to scratch anyone stick her paws underneath the door, licks the dust on the broom after it sweeps the floor. She sleeps on the heating bed for the clean clothes, dreaming of her next vicious sneak attack. Pepper, oh Pepper is a cat, is a cat. Pepper, oh Pepper is a brat, is a brat. I guess we'll keep Pepper because she makes us laugh when she stops and drops like she had a heart attack. She loves to be petted, and when we kiss her head, just watch out. Just watch out. Just watch out for her next sneak attack.
Good morning, and welcome to our sacred space. We're the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart, a welcoming community encouraging religious freedom, nurturing individual spiritual and ethical growth, celebrating diversity, and promoting a just and sustainable world. I'm Pam Wycliffe, and I'm a member of the board of this congregation. Welcome to you all. If you are a visitor or new to our virtual service, please check out our webpage to learn more about us at uufe.org. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome to the worship service for the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Elkhart. My name is Amy Kaliza DeBeck, and it is my privilege to be serving this congregation. And my pronouns are she, her, and hers. And it's very exciting for me because this is the first time that I have preached live from this congregation, from this space right here, since March of 2020. We've done services here, but they were pre-recorded. So you're my first live assembly in a long time, and I'm really happy you're here. One announcement that I want to make is for me. I'm asking for prayers and blessings and pleasant thoughts. Friday, October 8th is the 15th anniversary of my ordination. And so on Friday, if you happen to think of a time that we shared together, or something that you think I'm doing terribly wrong and you want to pray for me, or some memory of ministry in your life, I hope that you'll send a thought my way on Friday. 15 years is a big deal. I was ordained by the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Loudon in Leesburg, Virginia. So if anyone from Loudon is watching or sees this later, hi, thank you. And I remember you. The other announcement I want to make is that we're trying really hard in October to do some services that kind of put us back on track for being a community that can't do the things that we've typically done. We tried to figure out how to do a water ceremony, water ingathering. Some would call it water communion. We couldn't quite figure that out, but I think we have a plan now. So get your water together that is holy to you. It might be tap from your sink. It might be a trip that you took, but have your water ready. And if you can bring that by UUFE next week between 1 and 3, we'll make a video of you pouring your water in. And the week after that on Sunday, we'll have a service that includes the videos of people because we can't all be together inside safely. So I hope that next week, as the service will be about the UUA's relationship, because our October theme is cultivating relationship. Next week, our service is about cultivating the relationship between the Unitarian Universalists and LGBTQ plus communities. After that, from 1 to 3, we'll hopefully make some videos of people bringing their water. And the week after that is water and gathering. So with all of this, oh, and I'm joined in the sanctuary by Henry DeBeck, who is doing camera and sound work, and Terry Mark, who is admitting you. And if you misbehave, he's going to bop you. But he is admitting you and kind of covering the social media coverage. And Carl Rest is on location, setting up the whole service and dropping in videos that people had done prior. Whew. It's so good to be with you all. At this time, we're going to be welcomed into community. We already have been by me and Pam, and now Joan has some words to say.
We ring the gong 3 times. Once for those who came before us and made a place for us. Once for those of us who are here now. And once for those who will come after us and build on the dream. On this Sunday, when we are blessing our pets, our chalice lighting is by James Cromwell. Pets are humanizing. They remind us we have an obligation and responsibility to preserve and nurture and care for all life.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant.
The first part of our animal blessing is going to be remembering those pets who have crossed the Rainbow Bridge. So if you'd like to take a moment to think about what you'd like to say, or gather up a picture, or maybe they had a favorite toy, we'll be sharing that after the reading of this prayer. Just this side of heaven is a place called Rainbow Bridge. When an animal dies, who has been especially close to someone here, that pet goes to Rainbow Bridge. There are meadows and hills for all of our special friends so they can run and play together. There is plenty of food, water, and sunshine, and our friends are warm and comfortable. All of the animals who had been ill and old are restored to health and vigor. Those who were hurt, were maimed, are made whole and strong again, just as we remember them in our dreams of days and times gone by. The animals are happy and content, except for one small thing. They each miss someone very special to them who had to be left behind. They all run and play together, but the day comes when one suddenly stops and looks into the distance. His bright eyes are intent, his eager body quivers. Suddenly he begins to run from the group, flying over the green grass, his legs carrying him faster and faster. You have been spotted. And when you and your special friend finally meet, you cling together in joyous reunion, never to be parted again. The happy kisses rain upon your face. Your hands again caress the beloved head, and you look once more into the trusting eyes of your pet, so long gone from your life, but never absent from your heart. Then you cross Rainbow Bridge together. If any of you have something to share, there's a button at the bottom that says reactions, and you can put your thumb up, and that will let us know that you have something to share. While you're thinking about that, I want to share a memory of Josie and Angus. They are the cats that I adopted in 1994. And they lived together for 17 and a half years. And the memory that I want to share came to me during Carl's opening song about what a brat your cat was when we put Josie and Angus in boarding one summer while we went camping. They were in there for 2 weeks. When we came back, they wanted to adopt Angus because he had taken to hanging out on the counter and greeting everybody. Josie had a note on her pen that said, caution, angry animal does not socialize well with others. So for Josie and Angus, who crossed that Rainbow Bridge about 10 years ago, I give a loving memory to them. I'm going to call on Susie Meeks Wade. Please unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, this is Buttercup, and we lost Butters a year ago this month. So she was a really good dog. Really, really miss her.
Thank you, Susie. And I knew Butters a little bit. She was sweet. Ken and Joan.
Oh, there is the picture of Lucy, who is a ginger white cat and very beautiful, and Ouija, whose features don't show because he was completely black. Lucy was named by Ken, Lucy Ritardo. She was pretty, but not so smart. Ouija was handsome and so smart. He was trained to sit, to shake. Well, I was trained on the timing when the treat was to be administered. But anyway, yeah, we lost Lucy when she was 11 because I killed her by making my password to Apple. Lucy is 11 and she never turned 12 because of kidney failure. And then Ouija lived 3 years beyond that. But this spot in our living room was where they laid together. And it was so poignant to see Ouija lay there look and look and look for returning Lucy. But yeah, they were a great pair. Thank you.
Thank you. I see Carl with his hand up. And I see Laura too, but let's go Carl, then Laura.
Well, I also wanted to tell everybody that if you want to share a screen, you can do that. Terry made it possible. So this is Penelope. She was 15 years old. We just lost her in the spring. Sweet girl.
So sweet. Thank you, Carl. Laura, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'd like to make mention, and there's been a lot over the years that we've lost, some quite old, some not as old. The most recent, though, was a foster kitten. When I first took in the little kittens, they were sick, and one developed pneumonia, and we couldn't save her. And that's part of the downside of fostering, is you don't always save all of them. So this is for little Natasha. I did my best, but she died of pneumonia. And in a 2.5, 3-week-old kitten, it's very hard to recover from that. So it's for Natasha.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who has a Rainbow Bridge picture or memory? Oh, Carol, because it's shared screen, I'm sorry, I have to make an editorial comment because we're new at this. Because it's shared screen, I'm only seeing a few people at a time. So thank you, Terry. It's very important to have a crew here. Carolee, I don't see you, but I'm calling on you. Hit unmute and share with us.
Well, this is Delana.
Oh, now I see her.
She's a hairless cat. And Mark and Dave gave her to me when they moved. I hope you're not hearing the echo, but you probably are, maybe not.
Nope.
I am. She was a wonderful hairless, and you couldn't see her hair on your clothing. And so that was perfect for my customers who didn't want other people's pets on their clothing. She was a different cat, very arty there with her two-face color calico. I miss her, and I'd love to have another hairless. They're strange. And my first
Thank you,
cat,
Carolee.
my
And
first
what was her
cat
name?
Oh, Delana. She had a
Delana.
beautiful name, classy name. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Terry, are we've answered all the hands raised. So let us go now to hymn number 175. We celebrate the web of life. And we have Lizzie French playing piano for us in Colorado and sending us the videos. So here we are in the sanctuary. I'm seeing Carol Lee. Are you all seeing? Is everything okay to begin the homily part? Okay. Welcome to October. Many times in our ministry, this first weekend of October has been about blessing the animals. The timing is because October 4th is the feast day for St. Francis of Assisi, the patron saint of animals. From a biography of him, he was born in the late 1100s and was a pious priest. You've seen pictures or statues of him in a brown friar robe with animals around him and maybe some birds perched on him. Many of the stories that surround the life of Francis say that he had a great love for animals and the environment. A little book of stories got written about him after he had died, called Little Flowers. It's a collection of legends and folklore that sprang up about him. One account describes how one day, while Francis was traveling with some companions, doesn't say whether they're human or not, they happened upon a place in the road where birds filled the trees on either side. Francis told his companions to wait for me while I go to preach to my sisters, the birds. The birds surrounded him, intrigued by the power of his voice, and not one of them flew away. He is often portrayed with a bird, typically in his hand. Rather than bring our animals to an outdoor place so that we could not only be COVID safe, but also be more friendly to people with dander allergies, Carolee, I'm guessing that might include you having a hairless cat, we are letting our little friends stay in their homes for their blessings. And let's be clear that in the blessing of the animals, we are giving thanks for the blessings these animals bestow on us. Holy slobber out in the hallway in the middle of the night, all of the ways they live, all of the ways they please us and interact with us make it clear how blessed we are. Now, if we are to take into account all of the Zoom meetings, all of the memes that spring up on social media, if we are to take into account our experiences, we might surmise that this pandemic has been sheer heaven for dogs because they love us and they love it when we're home. And we could surmise that it has been hell for cats because they really just want their house while you're out at work or school, and they're having to share their house with us. But they're still affectionate and loving, but I think that the intense sharing of dog and cat videos, memes, and stories shows us that this is really a part of pandemic life that means something. So whether it is heaven for dogs and hell for cats, the truth, I presume, is somewhere in the middle. For 20 months, we have just been all over the map. Some of us have not experienced much change going into our jobs, but masking. Some of us have lost our jobs or have been part of the Great Resignation. Some of us have jobs that allow us to work from home while still being productive and employed. Thank you for that. But none of us, whatever our situation, are unchanged by this pandemic. Homeschooling, hybrid schedules, being flexible about e-learning days, all changed us. Companionship itself looks different, with families scheduling Zoom calls rather than car trips, for instance. Through all of these changes to work and school, our faithful companions have loved us. We can see other folks too. If we don't have animals in our house, we have access to, let's just say, foster kittens, Laura. Every time we Zoom in for meetings, the screen is rife with kittens. Loneliness, isolation, and longing to be with others, and the depression that these feelings can cause are very real results of COVID-19, and animal companionship is a great antidote. One of the most productive ways to stay steady, even as loneliness weighs on us, is if we have somebody else to care for. Now, I'm going back to the sermon I gave last year, because when you talk about a good thing, it stays a good thing. I just want to tell you about, we called it the Eden Principle, but when I did research on it, they call it the Eden Alternative. I did chaplaincy training in Goodwin House in Alexandria, Virginia. It was a continuing care retirement community. And here's what we learned about the Eden Alternative that is always good. The premise is there's 3 plagues of loneliness, helplessness, and boredom that account for the bulk of suffering in a human community. That's loneliness, helplessness, and boredom. In New York in the 1990s, Dr. Bill Thomas, working with retirement communities, designed the Eden Alternative, named for a time in life. We read it's a literary time in life, human life, when things were in balance in that Garden of Eden. It was a great environment at Goodwin House for us students to learn about a balanced life. As I prepared for this pet blessing, I kept thinking about the cherished animals who were part of my chaplaincy training. There was one of those really tall, like cages, but it went from ceiling to floor and it had a tree inside of it, lots of birds that were cared for by the residents and the staff. A cat who lived in Hope Garden, that was the Alzheimer's unit, and the therapy dogs. There were a couple who were owned by staff members, but this was a while ago. It was 22 years ago. I was pregnant with Henry. So 22 years ago, therapy animals were a thing, and they would come in and visit. Fostering an atmosphere of care where nobody was too sick or too old to care for another has shaped my ministry. Each week, as I grieve for our UUFE community who's struggling under such a long separation, it means I'm always looking for ways to help us, ways to lift our spirits. It occurred to me how staying closer to home more often in this pandemic has some similarities to being in a retirement setting. Both involve a more consistent, structured setting than pre-pandemic. Pre-retirement home life can show us some things. Animals help us feel more lucky to be home with them than stuck at home. Our dogs definitely believe the pandemic's biggest silver lining is having us around more. So what other lessons are there? If the Eden principles work for seniors in a retirement home, why can't we all embrace them? Here's what I mean, and I've used 3 precepts of living in Eden. Number 1, life in a truly human community revolves around close and continuing contact with children, plants, and animals. These ancient relationships provide young and old alike with a pathway to a life worth living. Number 2, loving companionship is the antidote to loneliness. In a human community, we must provide easy access to human and animal companionship. And number 3, to give care to another makes us stronger. To receive care gracefully is a pleasure and an art. A healthy human community promotes both of these virtues in its daily life, seeking always to balance one with the other. These 3 points speak to how important it is to have a pet or a companion or even a plant. Even Tom Hanks had Wilson, a volleyball who was somewhere between a friend and a pet. Companionship and caring are vital to our continued mental health, even when we're shipwrecked. The 3 points outlined about how we crave contact with pets, children, and plants is true. Zoom and phone calls help. I will not forget, in the first few weeks of the pandemic in 20, I made the sock puppet named Bailey. And after I had introduced her in the service, she sat on my desk for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. It got a little weird. I started talking to her. But then I remembered, hey, there was Wilson the volleyball, a sock puppet at least has eyes. Anyway, do you find yourself talking with your animal, human, and plant companions more often since the pandemic started? Like Wilson the volleyball, we will create community wherever we are. Pets are natural companions and our relationships are mutually beneficial. Love an animal today. Even if it's a bird or a squirrel you won't get to pet. I'm not really a bird watcher, but I unconsciously catalog our yard. We have a cardinal couple and a blue jay couple, and our kids do whatever they can to make our home attractive to crows and other corvids because of their mythical attributes. Whether we have been fostering kittens or watching the birds at feeders, our relationship with Earth's creatures is sacred. Francis had it right. In just a moment, we'll bless our furry pets, our scaled pets, our feathered pets, what have you. But I want to share the last element of the idea behind the Eden principle that certainly pets can provide, and that is keeping our mind sharp by dealing with the unexpected. The unexpected. Carl, I'm thinking about your song again and how she hides under the couch to, our cat Pearl thinks that she's invisible when she stands under a piece of furniture. And she is shocked when you talk to her. She's like, can you see me? So if we never had to help a person or an animal out of a sticky situation, we could live entirely in our heads. We could be entirely self-centered. Trusting in each other allows us the pleasure of answering the needs of the moment. When we fill our lives with variety and spontaneity, we honor the world and our place in it. The needs of the moment. Pets have a way of throwing us curveballs sometimes that lift us from our routine. But we can change things. We can change things up for ourselves even if we don't have a pet. Like, maybe that's why everybody is growing succulents, low maintenance, but also fragile. Kind of sounds like us. For all of the life we share with our pets, with plants, with our virtual contacts, may we count our blessings. Before I give you instructions about how to do this, I want you all to know that it was prearranged before this service that I would be doing an exorcism on our president's dog. So don't be shocked when that comes up. Please either raise your actual hand or use the reaction feature on the bottom of your screen. When I call your name, unmute yourself and tell us who you have with you so that they may receive a blessing. Susie, are you still there with Susie Q?
I am here.
All right, let's get this blessing exorcism out of the way. What I want to say to everyone else is that Susie Q came with the name. Our president, Susie, does not name all of her animals after her. She came with the name Susie Q, and she is a delightful, delightful animal. But not many people get to know that because she's so scary that you don't want to get near her.
Look at her. Does she look scary, Amy?
It's not. But go ahead. Go to Susie's door. Susie, tell us about Susie Q.
So we adopted Susie a year ago, and her name was Susie Q, so it was meant to be. In fact, they have one at the shelter now called Awesome Ed. And I keep telling Ed, we need to go get him, then we'd have Susie and Ed. But she was abused. She's been through a lot, and we've had her for a year, and she's doing so well. She's very, very protective. So she loves her family, but she's such a good dog and so affectionate when she doesn't need exorcisms, you know?
So first, the exorcism, which I've never done, but I'm feeling the power.
Look, Susie, look.
Susie Q. I exorcise from you all of the fear and all of the need to keep yourself safe and the people who you love. I exercise from you the problems in your mind that make you afraid of people and make you need to bark and scare them and show your teeth. You are hereby released from all of these terrible, terrible thoughts that plague your mind. Now, would you
Aw.
like a blessing?
Yes.
Could you please put your hand on Susie Q's head or wherever you usually put your hand? Susie Q, we bless you and thank you for being such a wonderful companion to your humans. And we hope that you continue to live a long and happy life.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you, Susie and Susie Q. Terry, do you want to call out the next person? Carl.
Of course, they're nowhere to be found right now, but I think if you saw the video at the beginning, I have Pepper and Tiger Lily. And Tiger Lily is 18, we think. And Pepper is probably 5. So we talk to them all the time.
Right, so I'm going to ask you to put your hand on something that they lay on, maybe the computer. And Tiger Lily and Pepper, thank you for being such a wonderful companion to your people. And thank you for being the subject of music. And we hope that you go on to lead blessed and happy lives for as long as you have. I see Laura's hand up. Is it okay to call on Laura next? Oh, dear God, I'm going to need a pen to write down all the names. All right, here. So you have 2 foster cat families right now?
I have
Anyway,
2
tell me who
foster
we're-
litters. This is Steve. He's one of the older ones. He'll be representing everybody because they're all scattered. They're starting to wind down from playing. But this is Steve. He's in the older litter. He's about 14 weeks old. He is up for adoption. This guy, Lorna coined the term Instapurr because as soon as you pick him up, he starts cuddling and purring. His siblings do the same thing. His siblings are Stephanie and Michael. And then, come here, Robin. This is Robin. He represents the younger litter. He's about 8 weeks old. His siblings are Batman, Hawkeye, and Storm. And then my cats are nowhere to be seen because the kittens are out playing and the older cats are off hiding to get a nap. And we've got Ivy, who's the oldest. She's 8.5, almost 9. And then we've got Bazinga, who, even though he's a dog, thinks he's a cat because, you know, he's surrounded by them. The kittens love Bazinga. He's so patient with them. He lets them crawl on him. He plays with them gently. He's a really good foster brother for the kittens. He gets them acclimated so that they can hopefully go to a home that does have dogs and they won't be quite so fearful. And then I've got Tarali and Orion are my cats, my other cats. They also are good foster siblings. The Orion especially helps teach the kittens how to cat appropriately. And he is often seen chasing and playing with them, grooming them. Takes Tarali a little time to get used to them. And then Ivy will have, she's the grandma of the bunch. She just smacks them and tells them to mind their manners. She doesn't want to play. So
And
that's
Ivy
the crew.
is the church cat, right? You all adopted her on the way to church one morning?
Yes, as
Yes.
a matter of fact, we're coming up. I want to say it was.
I think it was this weekend.
It is. It was the 7th of October that we took her in as a kitten. She was brought into the sanctuary. Abby Howling and who else?
Louis.
I think it was Louis. Yeah, brought them in, and our intention was to foster her as a kitten, but we were at the time living in my dad's condo as we were trying to sell it, and we realized too late that we had a showing the next day, and so I put a little note on the bathroom that this kitten was found in the road and we're fostering it, very friendly, just keep it in the bathroom. And of the 2 showings, that sold the condo to a young lady who happened to like cats. So, and Ivy is named after the Ivies.
Shirley Ivy. Yeah, it was the
Ivy.
same weekend that we were anyway. So you've got 11 names that I have faithfully written down. Got 11 names on here. So if you'll touch some fur and let them be a representative, we'll bless them all. Blessings on both the animals who live with Laura and the animals who are being fostered by Laura. Blessings on their relationships that help them have relationships with humans. And so I want to thank and bless Steve, Stephanie, Michael, Robin, Batman, Hawkeye, Storm, Bazinga, Ivy, Tarali, and Orion. Thank you for being such wonderful companions to each other and to your humans. And thank you, Laura. Steph Kroll, if you'd like to unmute yourself.
Hi, sorry, I have kids and Patrick running around, so I'm kind of outnumbered this morning.
I understand that.
So
do we get to see Patrick?
Yeah, he finally I gave him a Kong, so he's being quiet and laying. So I don't know. Oh, there he is. So that's Patrick. We rescued him last November from a rescue who got him from a hoarding situation in Tennessee. He had a lot of abuse. And so since we adopted him, I call him my $1 million rescue. He's had 3 intestinal surgeries. He's on a special diet that seems to be working. He's gaining weight, and I have to give him weekly. The vet said, "You've been through everything. You used to give your kid a feeding tube, if you remember Max."
Mighty Max.
Yeah, so now I give Patrick his weekly injection. So, so he's been through a lot, but he is just so sweet. And we've said goodbye like 3 times, but he just comes back. He's a little fighter. So,
is he a Rottweiler?
Yeah, he's probably, we don't know if he's pure, but I imagine it was probably like a breeding situation or something. And, I did meet his mom and I got to say goodbye to his mom, and his mom had no interest in the puppy. So I'm thinking maybe the rescues thought she was maybe overbred. But
I love the eyebrows.
Yeah, and she got it adopted too. So she was, well on her way.
Well, I see that you have Patrick in hand, so let's bless him.
Yeah, he didn't go for his long morning walk yet because it was Patrick, look. If you say his name, he'll probably look at you.
Patrick. Hey, Patrick. I want to give you blessings. I know you already have them. So blessings on you, Patrick. And thank you for being such a good friend to Steph and the rest of the family and all of your humans. And Patrick, as you figure out what your health situations are and you let humans help you, I wish for you a long and happy life.
Thank you.
Aw, what a sweetie. Who else has their hand up?
Thank you.
Deb Englefield. Bye, Steph. It was good to see you.
You too.
Well, I hope you can see this. This is Mippy with the best belly fluff ever. But he's not up here right now. He's downstairs. He's taken to sitting in front of the sliding glass doors because the chipmunks are active right now. I'm sure he just wants to be friends. So he's our miracle cat. He rode in the engine of the car. That lovely story. And he had a hard week because the groomer came we had a mobile pet groomer come and trim his nails for him, and he wasn't a happy cat at that moment. So he's just sort of hanging out downstairs and calming down.
Well, if you'd like to hold the picture of him in your hand, I'll bless him. Mippy, you are such a blessing to your to the readers who follow your story and to the humans you live with. And we thank you for being such a faithful companion to Deb and Kenley and anyone else who meets you and loves you. And thank you for being Mippy. We wish for you a long and happy life. Is there anyone else? Oh, Ken and Joan.
Okay, well, I sent in a picture of Gracie, but because I didn't know for sure being up north whether we'd have enough signal to join the actual group. But this is our current kitty cat, Gracie cat. She likes to lay on the stool and hang her arms over. She first came up to the French's house. They thought she would join their family of 2 cats, and their 2 cats loved her or tolerated her. She went berserk continually. She weighed 4 pounds. She stayed in their garage. She wanted in, but she would not acclimate to their other cats. So at the time we lost Ouija, Chris and Patty were looking for a home for Gracie. Chris named her, of course, how cute, right? Gray cat, Gracie. So we adopted Gracie, even though I thought because I'm getting so old and didn't want a cat to outlive me, I was going to get an old cat. But we took her to the vet and they thought she was a kitten because she was so tiny, but she was a year old and 4 pounds. So I don't know what her first year was like, but she wasn't very well socialized, and we've had her for 5 years. She still isn't very socialized, but we love her, and she has graced our home for that length of time. And Henry DeBack is a cat whisperer, because sometimes when our neighbors are gone, Henry is kind enough to come and be the cat sitter for Gracie cat.
So if you'll hold on to that picture of Gracie, we'll give her blessings. And I'm sure she'll feel it back home.
Yeah, right.
Gracie cat, we are so grateful and thank you for blessing the lives of Ken and Joan and anyone who visits you. Not that we ever get to see you,
no,
because you're hiding, but thank you for blessing our lives and Ken and Joan's lives, and may you have a long and happy life, Gracie.
Hi. There.
Anyone else?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes. Is
Hi.
that Emily?
It's Emily.
Okay, switch your camera.
And this is Thomas.
I love Thomas. He's so big.
They can't. Very good.
There you go. There's, oh, put him down.
Word. What a beautiful boy.
Well, he was fast asleep, so he's feeling a little. Great, big, beautiful boy.
Thomas. Oh, Emily, do you have more cats than Thomas?
I have Thomas and Elizabeth and Katie Kitten.
Yeah, I want to make sure they all get blessed.
I got Elizabeth when I first came here. She had been in the cage at Martin's when I first came to check into the house, and was still in the cage when I moved in 3 months later. So I adopted her. And that's Lizzie. I don't know how to switch the.
No, switch your video camera.
Oh.
Oh, here she is. Mom, just look at you. You can hear.
Yeah. So there's Lizzie.
She's growling because she's sleeping.
She's not well socialized either.
So it's
Lizzie,
Thomas, Elizabeth, and Katie
yeah.
Cat.
And Lizzie has hated the 2 additions to her household with a passion for 7 years. but I'm attached to her. And Katie Kitten was a hitchhiker in my car, like Mippy. And I drove into the garage one day and heard this little meow, and this 6-week-old kitten was up over the wheel area. So she's joined us, and she's not probably catchable right now. But I love them dearly. And that was my daughter Kyle here from Wales in England, acting as cat holder this morning.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
If you would like to put your hand on Thomas, I will bless your cat.
Bless old Thomas.
All right. Thomas, and Thomas, please represent your sisters, Elizabeth and Katie Cat, in this blessing of your lives and gratitude for the loving companionship that you give to Emily, even if not to each other. and Katie Cat, I hope that you find safety. And Elizabeth, sometimes you just got to deal with other people. Blessings on you, and hope that you may not love your cat siblings, but understand that you're all a family. And I wish you blessings and long and happy lives.
Thank you. And I have to say, Thomas is the ultimate gentleman cat.
He is fabulous.
Yeah, he raised Katie Kitten. Yep, he did. He washed her and licked her and took care of her and taught her to fight. Yep. Good cat.
Good cat.
Good cat.
Is there anyone else who is looking for a blessing? Henry, do you have a picture of Pearl? I just want to, I'm so excited to be doing the service from here, but I didn't think it through. I don't have a picture of Pearl or Pearl with me. Oh, there's Eliza and Pearl. Can I go back to my screen so I can see? How do
I don't know.
upper right view?
There you go.
There we go. I want to make sure I'm holding it up. So this is Eliza holding Pearl. Pearl
She's
was
not happy about
Pearl
it.
was given to us by Dwight and Oksana. They rescued her from a hollow log at Oxbow Park. And she is a cat who doesn't know how to cat. She is claustrophobic, won't sit in boxes, won't go outside if you were holding tuna fish and a bird. She will not cross that threshold to go outside. But Pearl blesses our lives and graces our lives and thinks that she is invisible when she stands under furniture. So blessings on you, Pearl. This has been wonderful. I love talking about our beloveds. So while I check in with my crew and make sure that all of this went well, we're going to listen to, or maybe even sing along, muted, hymn number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning. Our benediction, of course, was muted, but now we got it back together. Our benediction is from St. Francis, or at least attributed to him. Where hate rules, let us bring love. Where sorrow, joy. Let us strive more to comfort others than to be comforted, to understand others than to be understood, to love others more than to be loved. For it is in giving that we receive, and in pardoning that we are pardoned. Blessed be. Amen. Go in peace and pet those animals. So at this time, I think that we are going to stop recording.